Hello, Merry Women in Horror Month. I thought I'd recommend some books by ladies in horror that you may have heard of or you may not have heard of, I don't know. A bit of a rush job, just me at the computer because I'm trying to get two things finished. So here we go. Number one is there's a new edition of Frankenstein out now, and it's exciting because she had quite radical views on things, politically and also socially, and she did include a fair amount of that in Frankenstein, and apparently it was edited out, and they've now released a version with that in, so I'm really excited to read that. And there's a really good book actually which I read about her, which is one chapter about her mother, Mary Wollstonecraft, and then one chapter about her going from childhood to adulthood, and it's amazing. And oh my god, I don't remember the name of the author, but it's something about rebels in, I don't know, that's terrible, I should have looked that up. But anyway, the main point is you should look for a book on Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley, and also get this new edition of Frankenstein. And another one is MP Johnson, Berserkoids. It's Emma Johnson, she writes as MP Johnson. It's a collection of short stories, and I read that recently, and it's just so much fun. It's kind of gross and it's kind of silly in parts, but then there are also premises that should be silly but they're not silly, they're actually quite sweet. Like there's one with two friends who their friend has just died by accident, and her friend had always wanted to be eaten by sharks instead of buried, and they don't want her to go out just like a boring person because that's not who she was. So like it sounds like it should be silly, but it was actually very sweet. And yeah, it's loads of fun. Berserkoids by MP Johnson. And she's got a book out at the moment as well called Nails, which is a kind of fictionalised version of her experience as trans. So I really want to read that now as well. And also Lisa Cantorell, Cartoons in the Suicide Forest. It's another collection of short stories. She's very darkly sensual, the way that she writes. And yeah, it's one of my favourite books that I've read in the last year, I think. Natsuo Kirino, Out. If you haven't read Out, I like Grotesque by her as well. I've read that too, and Out is very good. Technically, Natsuo Kirino is a crime writer, but her brain is so strange and dark that horror fans will love her too. So Out is the main one I recommend. Ecstatic Inferno by Autumn Christian. It's kind of a range of strange short stories. There's some sci-fi, there's some horror, and there's some weird, but there's like a definite uncomfortable sensation that you get from reading her stories, and a lot of them are very thought-provoking. And the sci-fi one is quite creepy as well. It's one where people go to inhabit a virtually uninhabitable planet, and then their children start acting very strange. And so yeah, Ecstatic Inferno, that's another good one. And Cheshire Burke, Let's Play White. Yeah, it's dark fantasy, horror, weird in general as well. It's very imaginative, and it was really enjoyable to read. And finally, Laura Lee Barr, Angel Meat. It's a really surprising short story collection, Angel Meat. It doesn't want to be pinned down to anything. Like there's some unsettling stuff, and then the last story is quite heartwarming, so it doesn't want to be limited, if you see what I'm saying. So yeah, I think that's about it that I've got here. Yeah, go and read the things. Goodbye.